next. Well, one more day. Oh, 2 more days.
You talked about your next meeting, it's apparently on a holiday. I'm looking at, I can't see what it is, but it's a red letter up there on the 15th.
It's
Yeah,
Martin
we
Luther
moved-
King Day.
We moved it to the 16th. We did. Well, Scott and I talked about it, I'm sorry. We probably need to decide that.
Yeah.
That should have been under old business, that's my fault.
That's Martin Luther King Day. Are we getting that as a holiday?
That's our decision. We haven't been.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, so why should we have to move it?
We'll talk about it. Well, I guess it's a good time then while we're waiting on Dolores. Good morning, Dolores.
How's everybody today?
Good, how are you?
Oh, well, it's the year end. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I wanted to catch John and Roger up to speed on the transfers. Unless you have already talked to them.
Yeah.
Okay. After visiting with the auditors, things didn't quite go like they should have when they got completed with their audit. So we have a situation in the county that we did not have a resolution last year for the equipment reserve transfers, but he said if we had enough cash available from the 2017 year, that we could go ahead and make the 2016 equipment reserve transfer with 2017 funds. And he recommended that that's what we do, because he has already submitted the budget and for the audit, and he really doesn't want that messed with. And there was one transfer that he did not catch that we did during the year that he put in his audit adjustments. Okay. So I stuck that right on top. The ambulance transfer was made for the new ambulance back when they purchased it, and he didn't catch that, so I needed him to do a correcting transfer to make our records look like what his audit was submitted for. So that's going to show them in the hole about $11,000. But he said you could just turn right around and transfer, with your permission, if you decide you don't want to see them in the negative in that audit, then you can just transfer the money, transfer it right back in 2017. So actually that has to be in 16, yeah. So I have some transfer forms. Which I was going to fill out as you agreed on them. I can't do it without the form I have from the auditor. But I will pass these out. I know I've done this before, but it's become kind of an issue that we really need to work on making sure transfers are done. And the only way I know about them to do them is if we follow this procedure. Because in the past, they would always make decisions and agreements to do these transfers, whether it be matching grant funds or budget adjustments or whatever. The word would never get back to me that it needed to be done. So this is the procedure last year I came up with. And these are the forms that go with it. And I would just assume, these are all on the website. But if you want to just keep some in your drawers, and whenever somebody says transfer, just automatically pull one out and start filling it out. Because otherwise I don't get the word.
Need to go down there. We'll find it.
And I'm going to have to go, I'm sorry, run and get that off my desk so that we can finish those transfers.
To me, like the easiest way, every time we do a transfer, make sure she's in here.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Walk over and get her and say, hey,
And say, now we're ready to do a transfer, make sure we have everything done correctly, and
I agree with that.
so,
If she's here.
because I'm sure it's a paper trail nightmare sometimes. I was a little confused. Are we gonna transfer money this year, or do we wait till 2018 for the ambulance? I didn't know when we're supposed to be transferring that money to.
I think it's already occurred.
Right, the transfer was done during the year.
Yeah.
However, it wasn't caught in the audit, and so that's why
we
we're
showed it.
saying we need to do this, in and out, if we want to show them in the black.
Yeah, we just need to transfer back because he didn't show it in the audit, so our records match what his audit showed, which is going to throw them in the hole. It's actually $17,095.
So we
And then we
transfer
would
back right
turn,
now.
yeah. He wants me to transfer, and really, this is an audit adjustment. I guess I just need to inform you that this is what I'm going to do. But I do need permission from you and a transfer form to go ahead and transfer that back into equipment reserve. And I need that in the minutes to be approved. So,
So you've got all the data. Or something?
yeah. I should be able to- Okay. So that is the transfer back in from the ambulance
general.
budget into the equipment reserve. To put it back in there. So, see, lots more of these. Just share on those. The transfers for the equipment reserve. Just so I can help you understand the form a little quicker, on the very far left is the department. And then what their whole original budget was, and then this is the amount that was, they requested to transfer into equipment reserve. These are just the fund names and the account numbers of which they ended up, that I would use to transfer them. And then the next column is what I show at the, like now, when I finish today's work. This is the column where I show what they end up in their budget
The ballot budget
per now.
for 12/17.
Well, this we're talking about 16 equipment transfers,
Okay.
but this is the column of when we end the year. There's encumbrances that always happen, so the audit balance is always different than mine, but we have to go by the audit authority, and then the commissioner's permission to transfer any of those funds. And the auditors are requesting that the funds stay within the department. So what department puts it in is the only that department can take that money out from there. So I have to track what each department is putting in. There were a few funds that did go over their budget. And I don't know if they all had any plans to transfer funds or not. It is your decision whether you just transfer funds for those who have the budget authority left and remaining to do so, or if the county general has enough cash balance at the end of the year, you can approve to cover all of them. It will just throw those departments in the hole even farther. But you have the authority to also do budget adjustments so that those don't show up as a negative budget.
I would love to end the year with everybody in the black.
So,
So
we're talking about the total amount of transfers, if we did all of them, would be 394. But this 65,000 has already been transferred. So I didn't do the figuring, but the difference between that and 65 would be the amount, and we have a little over $2 million in cash balance left. So
we could easily go ahead and cover these.
yeah.
And what do we need to do that? Do we need a resolution, or do you want just a transfer
Well-
form, or how do you want that done?
The resolution is too late. You can't do a retroactive resolution, but we do need to have permission to do the
that's right.
16
Still trying to get
transfers.
16. Yeah.
16 transfers for equipment reserve from our 2017 budgets.
So really, all you need is a motion and a approval by the board.
And that you're going to approve all transfers, unless you want to just do the budget authority ones that have enough money left in their budgets. So,
All these in the yellow are all over budget.
No, just the ones.
no,
approved.
that is what the audit budget,
Okay.
audit, I reminding, talk.
The computer fund, I don't know who's in charge of that. 160. Who controls that budget?
I think the clerk and Eric. since he's our IT person, or was. I don't know where that stands, but
A lot of these we've already done though.
Yes. Did you look at the resolutions we've already done and signed?
today. I think so. I don't know. Those are the ones that, yeah. So those will work those are for this year's
This year, no.
2017, when they get done doing the audit, hopefully earlier than next year. I think it's just gonna get easier. And it's
I hope so.
with new auditors and new staff, it's just been kind of a struggle to get things done on a timely fashion, and hopefully we're getting back on track and we can get where we need to be. So, so if we could get a motion and a vote on transferring the equipment reserve funds for 2016 out of the 2017 budget. For the all remaining transfers, I don't,
That need
to be completed, yeah.
I can't say it any better than she did.
You lost me.
Well, basically what we're doing, we're transferring funds from the 2016, covering them with 2017
17
money
money.
From the equipment reserve.
from the equipment reserve.
Because our equipment reserve, just an explanation of the history of it, those three or 4 years that we were really in the hole, has really set all the departments behind in their reserve fund.
So do we need to
I
fill
really
all of these out
think,
for all of those?
no, I will just do one for all the equipment reserve
Oh, and you'll bring it
transfers.
in for us to sign?
Yeah, I can just fill one out right now. I think I gave you guys all of my copies, so.
I got it.
Well, first we need a motion then.
Need a
Yeah.
motion to approve transfers, equipment reserve transfers for 2016 to be paid from 2017 budget.
Which includes this ambulance. I so move.
Sign.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Same sign. Send that back down to him.
What did I do wrong?
What did he get wrong?
Needs to sign it.
I didn't sign it.
Who did?
I did.
Oh, well then.
I don't care if he signs for me.
I haven't memorized your signature yet.
What would that total be? 39 minus 85?
Mine's almost readable. Unlike you guys.
There would be that one. And these are just for Road and Bridge and Home for the aged. I haven't gotten updated for December yet. Those are very close. They're not that much different. These are the funds that we have for special, like Road and Bridge, capital improvement funds, equipment reserve funds. These are kind of the balances that we have. You want one? Just to kind of let you know where we're standing as a county.
How does this compare to years past?
Well, honestly, I don't know because I didn't used to track this before. So it's just the last 2 years that I've been tracking it. That was always done in the clerk's office, so. Okay. Speaking of budgets, though, I am going to end up in the hole myself again this year because I've had to spend more for personnel in my treasurer's budget than I anticipated. Those funds are not coming in on the motor vehicle fund side like they have been. It seems like the last 3 or 4 years is slowly depleting. I mean, slowly going down, even though I'm actually, the state has gotten it to where the counties can ask or tack on some fees to increase their motor vehicle fund to help supply their fund to be able to operate.
Do the
Because
business.
most counties, I don't see how bigger counties even do it. They don't. I mean, they don't make it with the motor vehicle fund because they don't get enough fees in it. They have to use their county budgets to support the motor vehicle, which shouldn't be, but it is. And I'm starting to end up that way too. So, looks like after today's expenses come out, I'm gonna probably be close to 6,200 under.
Okay. But we can still transfer out of the general to make
If you want to. Mhm.
It makes sense to start in black for a new year.
Okay.
I think we need a motion.
Yeah,
I got another question though. You're gonna adjust your budget accordingly?
that's what I'm asking to do. Yeah.
Okay.
If we could just do a
But
budget
going-
adjustment.
But going forward, are you looking at putting any fees in place or?
Well, I have implemented what they can. There is one I can look at that I might be able to increase a little bit, but we're just not getting the transactions
Or just not
because they're
selling
by
enough
transaction.
vehicles and people
Yeah.
are not buying new vehicles.
That's it. That's because we get those for every transaction we do, we get a certain amount of fees,
Right.
and it's just
Well, it's just the economy in general. It's
Yeah.
just finally hitting everybody.
Al was at the airport that didn't transfer. Oh, you have that one to do then?
Is that for 16 though, or 17 or 18?
18.
I think 18 is the one that he didn't get the budget put in there, so we'll deal with that next year. They might be thinking about where that will come from. Because I know we ended up slimming down that courthouse general quite a bit for some other things that we had to deal with. So,
And you said they're not really looking at any new projects this year, Roger?
Well, I have a feeling is they're gonna change gears and go a different direction. That probably
Take time to
nothing's
organize.
gonna get done in 18. I might be wrong, but
That'll help.
because they had all the pass through the FAA and they had that all done through the FAA to go south. But now they're gonna change it.
Probably have to resplit all that basement.
Does somebody want to keep these in their drawers and they can just...
I'm worried about full.
Scott, can you help them remember if you hear somebody talking about matching grants or transfers? Automatically just make it a
Well-
habit to get a transfer form out and have them sign it.
Probably what we'd like to do is consult with you before we sign any of these.
Okay.
So if we get those requests, we're probably
Well,
gonna
go ahead
bring-
and fill them out. You may not have to
We'll
sign
fill them
them.
out, then we'll bring them to you
Okay.
and see what you think of them before we sign them.
Okay. And if I'm available, you can just call me in.
All right.
Okay.
Dave,
Yes, on this.
Need to make a budget adjustment from courthouse general to Department of 70, treasurer's office.
And the
An
amount?
amount of $6,200.
Okay. All those in favor of this transfer? Aye. All those opposed? Same sign.
Dave brought me this.
Don't you miss these?
These two. Oh, this is for 2017?
Yeah,
Okay.
and where I missed that, you guys discussing this, I didn't know where we were at on
Okay, I'll visit with him on that, but that is something that I wanted to bring up is the department head meeting that we have. When will that be? On the, is it Tuesday or Wednesday?
that. It's Tuesday.
That's gonna be a really hard day to have that. Well, I will just make it work, but that is gonna be something that I'm going to make sure that we go through, is how transfers need to be worked with.
With the department heads.
Yes. So,
You have a copy in your paper to give them.
a copy of. Oh, yeah. I can print more of those off. They're on the website, so they and they know that they've been told
They can
that,
get
but
it
they
there.
just don't remember that. So it's a new process. It's just going to take a while for everybody to get to speed on it, but some of them have already got it with it, but come to me before they go into the meeting to get a transfer form. So it's starting to come around. We've done it one way for so many years, it's kind of hard to get everybody in the same thought process because it is very different.
Okay.
And you went through all of the new resolutions. Okay. And then, Terry, you gave me a couple of issues to research. And I got those done. Okay, so as of this decision or question, the sales tax to the hospital is different because even though we are both 1%, you would think it would match. The 1% would be equal, but the 1% for the hospital is figured right off the top. Once they have the amount figured for our county for 1 month, they take 1% off the top of it. Then they take the rest of it and they divide it between the city of Bird City, the city of St. Francis, and the county.
So you'd have to total up the three entities
Yes.
to come up
two
with
months,
that number.
yes.
We had a question from a citizen about the sales tax. 50% is set to go to the county, 50% to the hospital. His question was, those two numbers didn't match. And Dolores had just given us the explanation for that. And that sounds great, I'll let him know. Thank you.
You're welcome. And then the next one was on the hospital disbursements from the taxes. And it's pretty obvious that every budget, every entity that receives tax money is not going to receive 100% of what they're budgeted, so they hopefully take that into consideration. Most of them do. We have about a 1 to 1.575 or 0.17 interest or delinquency rate in the county, and so I know that we have to submit those delinquency rates to the entities, so I'm assuming they're using that in their formulas to come up with their budgets.
I hope so.
I mean, it's been that way forever. So once they get paid, though, some of those delinquent taxes come in and get paid. They get dispersed
At that time.
later.
Yeah.
So they just have to make those adjustments so that I don't think we've ever gone over a 1.7% interest
Okay.
delinquency rate in a year. So
All right, thank you, Jim, for
That's-
researching that.
I thought maybe it might have been the NRP too, because they are signed up to do the neighborhood revitalization program rebate. So,
Okay.
but I send that in the budget estimates when I send them those to prepare their budgets, so they know how much it's probably going to be estimated that they're not going to receive because they've signed up for that program. So between those two, that's probably why they haven't met their budget. I cannot disperse money to entities that I haven't received in tax dollars. So
Okay. Thank
yep. Okay, I think that's all I have, except for I get my transfer, the rest of my transfer sheets from Scott then.
you. All right, thank you, Dolores.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Jeff.
Morning, Terry and everybody.
Sorry we're running a little late, but this budget thing is,
Yeah, sure. Oh, I'll start off with some follow-up on a few items, equipment and improvements. If you recall, the county bought a washing machine for the village a few months ago, and we used Top Line because they were able to service it. Then Top Line is now out of business. They had an auction sale December 9th. They sold off everything. So it's like, what?
Yeah.
But the washing machine is working well. That's the good point. And then there was the item of the boiler circulation pump. And it took a while for it to come in, but it came in and it got hooked up this last week. And then it didn't work right. So we had to call McClure's back again, and they had to rewire something, and it's in order now. We haven't gotten the final invoice yet, so I haven't submitted it to Scott. On the financial side, we finished our 12-month period, and there was a 6-month reconciliation in May for $78,689, and then our margin since then was minus $230,000. I think all of you got a copy of this report already. And, you know, I feel like I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. I have to provide the basic services for our residents, and we have a facility that attracts people from outside of St. Francis and Bird City. We have a resident that came to us from Atwood. They preferred our facility. And we have some people from Goodland that came up here instead of staying in Goodland.
How's your census?
Right now it's 26, but there's one coming Tuesday. Put us back up to 27. And so I know that we're budgeted for 6 mills if necessary. And this year it will be necessary, and it still won't cover all of our expenses. So from $260,000, less the amount that's already been paid, gives us a request for the final 6 months of $181,311. That brings it up to $260,000. And that still leaves $50,000 that the society will be covering. And it's not a pretty situation. We're trying to address that. We have some revenue increases for some of our services. Medicaid is paying us a higher rate of daily reimbursement. It's gone up about $5 a day per Medicaid resident. And I've given to Neil, our director of nursing, the assignment to look at a 3-month plan for trying to increase CNAs or train CNAs, and a 6-month plan in an effort to try to get more CNAs. I can't go out on the street and hire people. CNAs need to be certified and nurses have to be licensed. So
Everybody's having the same problem.
yeah, I know the hospital's got the same problem too, I know.
So projections for the, let's say the first quarter next year, they look better than where we're at now? If you keep your census up and your staff full?
Yeah, and making some staffing level adjustments on second shift. I think we can save a full-time CNA a day there. That's what we're going to try for.
Okay.
And so I'm caught between trying to provide a proper environment for our residents, and then between my fiduciary responsibility to the county. I don't take that lightly.
Well, we appreciate that. We know times are tough.
So today I'm requesting a resolution to approve the release of that $181,311. And that seems to be the correct amount. Thank you. Do you want an invoice for this?
Yeah, if
Yeah, I've got one here.
you can. Well, I think you emailed me. Yeah,
If-
I've got it.
You got that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you emailed it to me.
Okay, all right. Fine. We're still in this in-between stage with the construction. And as I explained in my senior corner in the paper a week or two ago, if you saw that, Phase 1 is the west side of the building. We're waiting on the flooring that they specified. It still is not here. It was supposed to be done by the end of October. And so, aside from that, pretty much everything is on hold anyway because of the weather.
I do have a question.
Sure.
Reference the fire marshal putting Good Samaritan Village under a fire watch until further notice. Can you explain that? What is that?
The fire marshal was here on Wednesday, and they're testing the system. And when the water flows through the sprinkler system, the wet system, it should trigger an alarm. And so they released some water to trigger the alarm, and it didn't trigger.
So they're posting a fire watch. You actually have to have somebody physically.
Every hour, sign off that they've inspected the premises and that there was no fire. Well, what actually happened there was our maintenance guy had turned off the main valve for this test, which was not correct. And so when they opened up the system, the water didn't flow, and so the alarm didn't sound. So there was a fire watch, and within an hour after the fire marshal left, they discovered why it wasn't working. And
Does he have to come out and re-inspect that?
no, they were informed by fax, and so it was cleared. There was only a fire watch until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
So it's been lifted. It was a one-day event.
Yeah, 6-hour event.
Okay.
It's lifted.
I don't think you ever called us back.
Yeah, we just got the notice that you were under fire watch.
Oh, really?
And with no explanation of what transpired.
No, that's worrisome.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
See, now that facilities have its track record of fire anyway. All right, well, thank you. That explains that.
Yeah. So, Hutton was very concerned about this fire inspection, so they tried to get everything ready, and then in the end, this
It's a
human
whistle.
error caused this fire watch situation, but it was not a real problem.
Okay.
So, is there anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
All right.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Same to you, Jeff.
Thanks, thank you.
You want Dave to come in, or you want
If he's ready.
20-minute break?
Oh, we can take it.
You need to address your next meeting date.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk. Do we have a list of the holidays that were observed in 2017?
Yeah,
Can I see that? Here's the question.
We'll be
Martin
doing
Luther
that.
King Day.
we didn't last year. I know the city's taking it this year, and I think you'd mentioned something about taking it.
Well, I think historically they've kind of followed what the state of Kansas
The
does.
state always takes it. We set that at the next, at the,
The very first reorganizational meeting.
yeah, we set those on the 8th.
Well, we're talking about looking at, do we need to move the January meeting
Right.
or not?
If you're gonna take, if you're gonna keep the state is, yes, it is taking that off. So in that case, we'll need to move.
Any opposition to that? Changes? We've kind of historically, at least in my understanding, followed what the state of Kansas does as far as declared holidays throughout the year.
Well, I think the reason, are we closed, you saying?
We haven't made that decision yet. That's what we're,
Well, like the motor vehicle, it'll be shut down.
well, and so will the clerk of the court,
Yeah.
because they're state employees.
And so they really, the treasurers, there's a lot of business they can't do. And I think that's why we've always closed when it was, the state of Kansas closed.
All right. Thank you.
That's their 2017 annual
I know we
calendar.
used to trade that day for the day after Thanksgiving, so they got 2
And
days.
then I've wrote in the
That's
other
the reason they were still there.
Remaining. But this-
that we usually take off.
Okay, so do we want to go ahead and, Scott mentioned usually this is done, we set these dates at the reorganizational meeting in January. But we kind of need a decision on this for that Monday, the 15th, whether we're going to be open or closed and move the commissioners' meeting day to the
Which,
16th.
the 8th is that reorganization meeting.
Oh, so we can wait
So
till,
you can wait till then if you
to make
want.
that.
Or wants to do it now, or?
Well, but that only gives us a week to get it in the paper.
Right.
You know, table it until that meeting or?
No, I'd rather make it and get it over.
Let's do it. So we need a motion to go ahead and declare Martin Luther King Day, January 15th of 2018 as an official day off for the county.
I so move.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Okay, so we'll move the Commissioners' meeting to the 16th of January. Okay. And so Monday the 8th, it will,
By statute, we have to, the second Monday in January, have to have a reorganization meeting every year.
okay. You're gonna start it at 8 in the morning also?
That's what I assume.
Okay,
That's what day, the
the
8th.
8th. Okay, now let's take a 5-minute break, 10-minute, whatever. Question, Tim?